What's up, hard chargers? That should be what's up, hard chargers. That was like what's
Kyle.
We're back with another great episode. Even though the jokes aren't good, the episodes are.
I don't know if that's a thing. What's your name?
Kyle Miller,
Okay, cool. I'm Al Cohen.
and we're here with not.
You're
a
in your
podcast.
basement. I'm in my living room / office.
Like most professional YouTubers, we
That's
are.
right.
making
Are we
do with
professional
what we-
YouTubers?
Of course, yeah.
Okay,
That's
that's
what
cool.
I tell people I do for a living. We just had the elections happen.
We sure did.
Last week.
Yes, we did. With some surprising results, I will say.
I was just talking with a friend actually before we got on here, and I think it's a mistake to think that the election results that happen in this are, like a foregone conclusion of results that are to come, because people don't realize that because there's no big names at the top of the ticket, the voter turnout's really low. And there's some people that absolutely realize that. And that's why they put these property tax increases, levies, and stuff like that on the ballot, because they know that all they needed to get is a few hundred people.
That's right.
To turn up.
And so our friend, Representative David Thomas, one of our Buckeye Blueprint champions, talked about some of those election results. And so, spoiler alert, Ohioans voted overwhelmingly to increase their property taxes. And he put out some great content about that. Yes, what?
The people that showed up to vote.
The people that showed up to vote, right.
So let me put it
they are Ohioans, so.
Well, but it doesn't represent necessarily the vast majority of Ohio. It doesn't even represent a part of the majority. Richland County, where I'm at, had 23% voter turnout. 75% of those people voted on 75% of 23% voted in favor of like things out there that were on the ballot. That to me is a very low number.
I would agree with you, but I do think that in general there is a lack of education around what these levies are, what they do, what they're used for. Yeah. And I think that there's sort of a knee-jerk reaction in the ballot box when you see emergency levy for your school district. You think, oh my gosh, like my school's in trouble. Like, of course I will vote to increase, the funds to my school. Meanwhile, we know that schools are being funded appropriately, but a lot of those schools are just sitting on a lot of that money. I know here at our public school in Cincinnati, our property taxes are very healthy. And yet, parents are being hit up all the time for donations, for structural improvements to the school.
Jane Timken, Senator Timken, she was at one of our chapter meetings last night. Stark County, shout out to Jen Kiko. Stark County chapter getting up and going over there. I think this was like their fourth meeting. But Senator Timken was talking about how some of the schools have $40 million singularly. One school, $40 million sitting in reserves. And yeah, not a great use.
Yeah. So let's take a look at what Rep. Thomas had to say about the election and what he's asking voters to do.
We, the voter, have increased property taxes on ourselves. In this current crisis that we're going through with property taxation, this November election, what we saw across Ohio were voters actually voting to increase taxes. We saw on average the same or even higher amounts of passages for levies. In Ashtabula County, 30 of 36 levies passed. In Trumbull County, 21 of 21 levies passed. The legislature has taken action and helped on the unvoted increases side of the property tax bill. But when it comes to the voted side, what we saw this November was actual increases. And we, the taxpayer, we, the voter, have done that then to ourselves. There's a clear disconnect between the tax burden that we're having in the crisis and what the voters have essentially just done, which was make that crisis even worse.
Honestly, like whoever didn't show up, it's a low percentage, so I don't think it's indicative of the vast majority. But democracy isn't the idea that a majority rules. Politics belongs to those who show up. Policy belongs to those who show up. So why didn't you go vote? Why not vote against that? Why? Because that was a fight that happened right now. Like it wasn't a could be, would be thing. It was on the ballot. So, was there any initiatives put into that? Not that I've seen, and I've traveled all around the state.
That's right. And I think that it's a really good point that you bring up, showing up, because that's obviously what we're trying to do is we're trying to give people an avenue for them to show up, to make a difference, to do something about property taxes in a meaningful way. But I also think that an important part of being a part of AFP Ohio is educating yourself about what those levies mean and what those things on the ballot mean, because I do think that they can be quite confusing. And again, like that knee-jerk reaction, if you're armed with knowledge, and I mean, Rep. Thomas comes out to our events all the time. We have, other representatives who will come out and talk through the nitty gritty, if you want, of the bills that they're working on, the efforts that they're working on, so that you can go to your ballot box way more informed and ready to take action for the things that you believe in.
Yeah, you have to do your part. And I hope that we've been doing a lot to shed light on the fact that, every levy, every property tax increase, anything that's going to increase how much money your local government is asking from you, it comes with very little explanation. And anytime you ask questions about it, you get a bunch of anger in return that, like, you just don't know, you just don't get it. Again, Senator Timken was saying that in committee hearing, they were asking one of the schools, what was the emergency that you put this emergency levy on there for? And you know what the response was? Their response was, and I forget what school it was, but their response was, our emergency was educating Ohio's children. It's like, well, that's very lovely, and very vague.
It shouldn't be an emergency, though. That shouldn't be an emergency. Yeah.
No. And that's what I'm saying, is that I think when you're met with anger, it's because people don't know how else to explain it. I wouldn't be angry if my kids asked me why we can't go to Disneyland. I could very easily tell them, why that is.
Because you can't afford it.
The podcast just hasn't taken off yet. YouTube,
not yet.
Just don't make as
we're
much
waiting.
as we're used to.
So we're about out of time. So I just want to say, if you want to get involved, we have so many ways to do that. We have our lovely chapter structure. We have chapters all around the state, which I'll throw up that graphic. And so please go to our website, buckeyeblueprint.com, to find out how to get involved, how to take action, check out an event happening near you. And what else, Kyle? What else we got for them?
I think that's about it.
All right, cool. Well, keep charging hard, hard chargers. We'll see you next week. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe, please. This comes out every Thursday. So like and subscribe and comment.
Hit the bell. Give us a thumbs up.